there, very good evening and a warm welcome to the news live on Channel I. I'm Sharon Masquinius.
Good evening, I'm Clifford Richards. First of all, we take a look at the headlines.
The President emphasizes that the media freedom was established to the maximum during the past few years. Taxes on several imported essential food items reduced. A 10-point chart on behalf of the protection of women. Insurance for those engaged in self-employment. There is no shortage of fertilizer at all, the Ministry of Agriculture emphasizes. A country based on intelligence will be created, a statement from Gotabaya Rajapaksa. Today is the general election of Canada.
And now we move on to the stories in detail. President Maithripala Sirisena says that he was the person who was criticized the most during the past era when media freedom was established to the maximum. However, he said that no one should take revenge against any of those persons. Even the youth of the country are enjoying maximum media freedom. He made this comment while addressing a National Youth Model United Nations Organization conference yesterday in Colombo. The conference was organized with the objective of empowering youth, expanding ideas and gaining an understanding on how to solve problems without taking up arms. It is being held for the third time. More than 400 young men and women covering the entire island were present on this occasion. The President replied to a few questions raised by these young men and women as well. The President said that the President of the country is being criticized and insulted on social media, but he said he has given that freedom and not punished anybody for that. That media freedom and democracy should be enjoyed by everyone. If one is to come into politics, he should be an example to the others. Although there are various allegations regarding the field of politics, it is a good thing. It becomes something disgusting when non-qualified people come in. Within our constitution, there is a possibility for learned, intelligent young people to come into politics. He said he brought in the death penalty for drug dealers because it has become a huge challenge across the world. He said he signed to carry out the death penalty for 4 persons. Other party leaders spoke against it. It is the Supreme Court that can give an order to postpone the death penalty. The verdict of that case will be received in a few days' time. If the Supreme Court allows the death penalty to be carried out, he said he will do so within his official tenure and leave.
President Maithripala Sirisena, who left for Japan, arrived at the Narita International Airport in Tokyo this evening. The President was welcomed by a special group of representatives of the Japanese government. The objective of the tour is to participate at the coronation ceremony of the new Japanese Emperor Naruhito. The tour was undertaken based on a special official invitation of the Japanese government. The coronation ceremony, at which a number of world leaders will be present, is to be held in Tokyo tomorrow afternoon. The President is due to meet Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe during the visit. Officials of the embassy, together with the Sri Lankan ambassador in Japan, Professor Dhammika Ganganath Dissanayake, joined in welcoming the President.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe says that steps will be taken to provide insurance to those engaged in self-employment in this country. The Prime Minister emphasized that at a meeting held today in Gunasingapura that not only large-scale businessmen but traders and businessmen engaged in self-employment should be protected. Deputy Leader of the party, Minister Ravi Karunanayake, Member of Parliament Mujibur Rahman and a group who were present at the meeting held at the United National Self-Employed Trade Businessmen's Association. The Premier said that Gotabaya Rajapaksa summoned all big businessmen to the Shangri-La Hotel. He said he came on the 100-feet small roadway to speak about the economy of the small man. The reason is because without the economy of the small man, the economy of the country cannot progress. J.R. Jayawardena created the open economy to raise the economy of the small man. It was Ranasinghe Premadasa who built the place in Colombo to raise the standard of the economy of the small man. He requested people to vote for his son, Sajith Premadasa, on the 16th of November and protect the economy of the small man.
Presidential candidate of the New Democratic Front, Sajith Premadasa, signed the Women's Charter. She rises to a new day, the beginning of affection on behalf of her with encouragement. That is to safeguard the rights of the general of women in this country, which is more than 51% of the population. The function was held at the Sugatadasa Indoor Stadium in Colombo. Sajid Premadasa arrived at the function, received a warm welcome. A 10-point program which confirms the safety of women is included in the Charter. Representatives of a number of women's organizations connected to the New Democratic Front, led by the United National Party, participated in the launching function. Presidential candidate of the New Democratic Front, Sajid Premadasa, said that a main section of the Women's Charter is equality and justice. He said that they were able to provide 25% compulsory representation in local government institutions. He said that he hoped to amend the political pattern to bring about that target within provincial councils and the parliament. He said that when meting out justice and laws, equal rights should be given. In addition to an insurance system on behalf of self-employed women, he said that he hopes to strengthen it through a system of assistance. Sajid Premadasa also said that they will make arrangements to set up daycare centres. Maternity leave with wages will be further extended, he also said. All debts of women who have obtained loans at exorbitant rates of interest from microfinance institutions will be wiped out. No wine stores licenses will be issued, he said. Arrangements will be made to shut down wine stores in the vicinity of schools. He also said that a national women's bank will be established. A presidential task force will be set up to implement the Women's Charter. Within 3 months, he said that to achieve the above task, all parliamentary acts and laws will be legalized. An independent women's commission will be established, he said, within 1 week of being elected as president.
මම මේ අවස්ථාවේ ප්‍රකාශ කරනවා මේ සියල්ලක්ම ශක්තිමත් කිරීම වෙනුවෙන් ස්වාධීන කාන්තා කොමිෂන් සභාවක් තමුන්නාන්සේලා මාව මේ රටේ ජනාධිපතිවරයා බවට පත් වුණු දවසේ සිට සතියක් ඇතුළත එය ස්ථාපනය කරනවායි කියන එක මේ අවස්ථාවේ ප්‍රකාශ කරනවා.
A rally to ensure the victory of presidential candidate of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, Gotabaya Rajapaksa, was held at the Beliatha area in Hambantota today. Presidential candidate Gotabaya Rajapaksa said that during the time of Mahinda Rajapaksa, everyone knows that there was development never before seen in history. With expressways, international airports, harbours, it was possible to transform Colombo into the most rapidly developing city in Asia. 2.5 years after this government came into power, all of those projects were halted. The economy started collapsing. He said that they have a clear plan in order to rescue the economy. There are many countries which are rapidly developing in Asia today. He said that in association with this, it will be possible to take the country forward under a clear vision. He also said that the country can be moved forward based on intelligence. He further said that a huge investment will be made on behalf of education during the first year itself. Skills will be provided so that young men and women can contribute towards the economy. Gotabaya Rajapaksa said that the government did not focus any attention on agriculture at all. He said the farmer has to be taken forward. He requested the people to carry out their obligation and said that as he will be obliged to provide a safe and secure country.
තවත් වැටිලා තිබෙන මේ ගොවියා දිරිගන්වලා ඔවුන් ඉදිරියට ගෙන යන්නට ඕනේ. තමුන්නාන්සේලාගේ යුතුයකම ඉටු කරන්න, ඉෂ්ට කරන්න මම මගේ යුතුයකම වන සුරක්ෂිත රටක් සහ සෞභාග්‍යමත් රටක් තමුන්නාන්සේලාට ලබා දෙනවායි කියන එක මේ අවස්ථාවේදී මම සාතික වෙනවා. අපි හැදුවා වරාය. ඒ වරාය හැදුවා.
Opposition leader Mahinda Rajapaksa said that a harbour was built on behalf of the future generations to be born. Today, it has been sold and lands have been given to foreigners. The airport has been sold too. Parliament parliamentarians engaged in marches against these things. The police attacked with tear gas and chased everybody away. Parliamentarians went to prison. Then these were sold to foreigners. The government does not have the right to grab the rights of children to be born in the future and to sell it off and prosper.
අපිට කඳුළු ගෑස් ගාලා හිරේ දාලා ඉවර වෙලා මේවා පිටරට යන්න වික්කා. ආණ්ඩුවකට අයිතියක් නැහැ තා අවුරුදු 10කින් ඉපදෙන. එහෙම නැත්නම් තා කාලෙ
Another rally was held at midday to ensure the victory of Gotabaya Rajapaksa.
The Economic Manifesto of the National People's Power, A Quality Life and Unshakable Economy, was launched today under the patronage of the presidential candidate of the National People's Power, Anurakkumara Dissanayake. Intellectuals of the field of economics supporting the Nation People's Campaign and group of representatives from various associations were present on this occasion. The manifesto containing a series of economic policies were present to them by Anurakkumara Dissanayake. Presidential candidate of the National People's Power, Anurakkumara Dissanayake, said that debt is not a crime. It becomes a crime when assets to suit the debt are not created. When the debt of our country is 11 trillion, assets have been created for only 1.8 trillion. This is a statement of the Auditor General, he said. Dissanayake also said that a plan of 10 years with targets to methodically come out of the burden of debt, there is no vision or guidance for creating small and medium-scale entrepreneurs, so he said that they want to create eagerness for these enterprises. The 5 main economic problems he mentioned are debt, the import-export crisis, collapse in production, lack of state income and poverty. He said that a procedure suitable for this overall has been presented by them. There would be no future without implementing this procedure, he said. A media briefing regarding the policies of the National People's Power was held today. Member of Parliament Vijitha Herath expressed his views on this occasion.
The presidential candidate of the National People's Movement, Mahesh Seranayake, says that a candidate who does not belong to a party should be elected as this time's presidential election. He made this comment while expressing his views to the media subsequent to a discussion held with party members today at Bandarwala. The presidential candidate of the National People's Movement, Mahesh Seranayake, said that during the 71 years, people of this country have become poverty-stricken due to coloured politics. These fraudsters who were rejected by the people have come back with a new face. The time to put a full stop to that and to raise awareness among the people, and also time to make a decision based on conscience has come, he said, by electing the upcoming presidential election. A president who is not affiliated to a party is the only way that these problems can be solved. He said that this is the final opportunity that the people will get. Media spokesman of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, Veerakumara Dissanayake, says that the SLFP has implemented an extensive election campaign island-wide on behalf of the victory of Gotabaya Rajapaksa. A series of main meetings summoning SLFP Balamandala so as to cover all electorates is being held island-wide. Arrangements have been made to hold a series of meetings at regional level covering 5,020 local government electoral divisions from 25 and 25,000 small rural meetings. A program to raise awareness among people while going from house to house in both urban and rural areas covering 14,022 Grama Seva divisions in the island is also due to be carried out. The broad elections operation is being implemented with the district intervention of SLSP district leaders and all electorate organizers as well as district and electoral managers.
The International Maritime Conference, Gold Dialogue 2019, organized by the Sri Lankan Navy under the patronage of the Ministry of Defence, commenced in Colombo today. The chief guest on this occasion was the State Minister of Defence, Ruwan Wijewardena. Local and foreign scholars and experts in naval and maritime affairs representing 55 countries including India, China, Japan, the United Kingdom and the United States, along with 12 international organizations and 3 defense industries are participating this year.
Gold Dialogue, since its inception in 2010, has created a forum for all stakeholders to express their opinions for safety and security of the maritime domain through cooperation, collaboration, and partnership. A large number of senior maritime professionals from several international organizations have gathered today to Colombo to discuss issues that are relevant to maritime affairs under a very timely theme, refining mindset to address transnational maritime threats, a review of the decade. In this backdrop, maritime stakeholders must strive to enhance maritime security through cooperation with friendly nations, as we all have understood the importance of working together rather than in isolation for better results. At present, 90% of world trade takes place through the sea. One half of the entire world's container traffic passes through the IOR. The sea lane of communications in the IOR is strategically very important to the entire world. Any disturbance in interruptions to unimpeded flow of this traffic would create a huge influence on the world economy. Transnational threats are becoming one of the major security issues in the IOR. Different extremist religious groups and terrorists are using the maritime domain extensively for their activities. This has endangered the security of the major sea routes of the Indian Ocean. In the future, the situation will be worse, with the rise of illicit arms trade and drug trafficking in the region. Further, policing the vast ocean creates a huge challenge, especially in dealing with the illegal movements of narcotics and migrants. Fortified with the advantage of this unique position in the Indian Ocean, we are looking at the future with great expectations to regain our maritime glory in the Indian Ocean by promoting trade and tourism so that we can make Sri Lanka an important maritime node in the vital sea stretch.
Transnational crimes such as human smuggling, piracy, drug trafficking, maritime terrorism, IUU fishing and maritime pollution have room to take place because of the lack of adequate domination and surveillance at sea. The increasing number of seagoing vessels and their growing diversity make the identification of potential threats very difficult. Threats also exist in sea lanes of communication, which in turn affect the international trade and energy security. Therefore, countries must get together to find solutions beyond the legal intervention in the high seas, despite of the existence of various conventions, treaties or agreements, whereas token joint naval exercises are no longer adequate. This forum is facilitating to establish cooperation among nations. This vital forum has always been promoting proper intelligence gathering and timely communication between the navies and other maritime agencies over the last 9 years. Ladies and gentlemen, this conference has reiterated and amply highlighted that no matter how powerful we are individually, as long as we act in isolation, we will be ineffective in mitigating present threats being posed by non-state actors and criminals at sea.
The Cost of Living Committee, which met today, has decided to reduce the prices of several essential food items for the upcoming festive season. Its President P. Harrison said that this step has been taken with the objective of reducing the burden of living costs of the people. Accordingly, the tax on a kilo of imported dried chilies has been reduced from 25 to 5 rupees. The tax on imported fish has been reduced by 75 rupees. Steps will be taken to control the price of chicken and eggs prevalent at this time. 48,000 metric tons of stocks of paddy in government warehouses is scheduled to be made into rice by small and medium-scale paddy mill owners and to be provided to Satosa sales outlets. It has been decided to sell a kilo of Nadu rice at 80 rupees, while a kilo of Samba will be sold at 85 rupees.
Meanwhile, Norwegian Ambassador Trine Johanli Eskadal concluded a 2-day visit in Kandy recently. The Norwegian ambassador visited Kandy on October 17th and 18th, and she visited the Sacred Temple of the Tooth and paid respects to the chief prelate of the Askiriya chapter, the Most Venerable Varakagoda Jnana Ratanathera, and chief prelate of the Malvata chapter, Most Venerable Tibbatwavi Sri Sumangala Mahanayakathera. She then visited the Bishop of Kandy, His Lordship Joseph Vianney Fernando. The ambassador was the chief guest at the 7th convocation of Sri Lanka International Buddhist Academy, which was established with Norwegian funding 10 years ago. She also called on Governor of the Central Province, Rajikirti Tennakon, and met with the Mayor of Kandy, Kesarasena Naika. During her visit, Ambassador Eskadal also visited a number of home gardens in Gallagher area, which received technical assistance from Caritas Sri Lanka, an organization supported for Caritas Norway.
Commonwealth finance ministers have urged closer collaboration to resolve tax challenges arising from the growth of digital commerce, recognizing the potential of technology to improve debt transparency. These decisions were made by ministers gathered for the 2019 Commonwealth Finance Ministers meeting in Washington, D.C. recently. 2019 Commonwealth Ministers meeting chaired by Cyprus was held under the Avoiding Debt Crisis, the role of creditors and debtors. Ministers have agreed that the Commonwealth should bring its powerful collective voice to ongoing discussions at the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. International agreement on digital taxation could enable countries to benefit by taxing large tech giants, even if they do not operate within their jurisdictions. Ministers also observed that global trade and geopolitical tensions as having intensified in a context where global debt has risen to an all-time high, estimated at $19 trillion. They stressed the need to make debt easier to manage for vulnerable countries and also for them to be eligible for periods of relief to stabilize growth during economic shocks. The Commonwealth gave a presentation on its flagship debt management system, Commonwealth Meridian, which is used by 63 countries to manage their debt, which combines to a total of $2.5 trillion. Considerable progress is expected to have been made on the various action and initiatives discussed by the time the next Commonwealth Finance Ministers meeting, which will be chaired by Botswana in Washington, D.C. in 2020.
Meanwhile, the second Maker Fair 2019, organized by the U.S. Embassy in Sri Lanka to bring together young investors and innovators, was held in Colombo yesterday. Acting U.S. Ambassador to Sri Lanka Martin T. Kelly presided the event as the chief guest. This platform aims to inspire more Sri Lankan youth in pursuing careers in technology and innovation. The U.S. Embassy launched the Makerspace program at the American Center in October 2016 to provide technology and resources in fostering innovation and solve problems. This engineered-centered exhibition is free of charge and open to visitors of all ages. The program includes innovation workshops for youth and panel discussions led by leading tech experts and academics. The Maker Fair also features the support of the Rupavahini University, Sri Lanka's largest ever robot battle. This year's fair showcased over 65 innovators and their inventions.
An impressive robot battle, and I understand this is the largest robot battle in Sri Lanka, which is amazing. The purpose of the event is to promote science, technology, engineering, and mathematics STEAM program, and this is something that we think is a wonderful thing. It is one of the things that drives economy, and it drives economic prosperity. So to see so many young faces here today engaged in this sort of activity just brightens my heart. So I'm glad to be here, and I thank all of the organizers who have been involved in helping make this happen.
Warnings about landslides have been issued in the districts of Ratnapura, Kegol and also Badula. Meanwhile, the Met Department says that the rain conditions in the southwest of the island could also prevail further. Rains exceeding 100 millimeters could be experienced in certain places.
As per the Meteorology Department, the possibility of 100 millimeters rain could also be expected in western and Sabaragamu and northwestern provinces, especially the Puttalam and Kurunagal area that has been recorded a lot of rainfall, especially the most of the tanks been full, and spill gates open in 7 gates from Tabova Reservoir, and 2 gates been open in Angamua, and 6 gates open in Rajangane, 8 gates open in Tedru as well, and 1 gate open in Kukuliganga Reservoir in Kaltura district. And there are some incidents being recorded and some kind of roads being inundated, especially in the Vennapu area, and the Eluvankulama area been inundated at the Old Manor Road. People need to take detours as per the recommendations given by the district disaster management units. And the landslide warning still being continued with the Kegol, Deyovita, and in Ratnapur district, Kurubita, Heligoda, Balangoda, and Imbulpu area, and Opanaik also. In Badula district, Haldumula been notified as per the risk of the landslide, and Atyantra also been notified as landslide in Kegol district. More than 110 millimeters been observed many areas of Sri Lanka. People need to pay a lot of attention on the possibility of signs of the landslide. If any signs been observed, they need to move from the particular areas. So all the tri-forces and the police and the disaster management units and other stakeholders been standby for the upcoming disaster management activities. If any queries, that they can access via 117 call center number.
Puttalamanna Road has been inundated due to the Kalawe overflowing its banks at Eluvankulama. A number of low-lying areas have also been flooded in the Divisional Secretariat division of Nathandi due to heavy rains. 6 sluice gates have been opened in the Rajangani reservoir. 6 sluice gates were also opened in the Thabbo reservoir. In addition, 2 sluice gates of the Angamu reservoir and 8 sluice gates of the Daduroya, as well as 1 sluice gate at Kukuliganga have been opened. The Disaster Management Centre informs people living in low-lying areas of the reservoir to be very vigilant.
The Ministry of Agriculture says there is no shortage of fertilizer. Minister P. Harrison has said that fertilizer required for paddy cultivation and entering crops during the Maha season has been imported. He made this comment subsequent to observing the Lakpora and Commercial Fertilizer Storage Warehouse. The government already spends a sum of 35 billion rupees annually for fertilizer. The minister said that 13 government and private companies have been granted approval to import fertilizer.
The appeal court today issued notices to 3 individuals, including the General Secretary of the Bodubala Sena organization, Venerable Galgudatte Gnanasaratera. That was when a petition filed regarding the cremation of the body of the chief incumbent of the Gurukanda Rajamahawihar. This petition was filed by a Member of Parliament, Mullaitivu District, Shantini Sri Skandaraja. It stated that a group including Gnanasaratero had insulted the judiciary. The magistrate of Mullaitivu had ordered that the cremation of the chief incumbent of the Gurukanda Rajamahawihara not be held at the temple premises. Without taking the prohibition order into consideration, 3 persons including Gnanasaratero, the petition stated, had insulted the court. The Attorney General has requested time to present facts to the appeal court on the order preventing the display of posters, cutouts and banners on roads and public places during the period of the presidential election. The petition had been submitted by the Environmental Justice Centre. The Central Environmental Authority, the Acting Inspector General of Police and the Attorney General have been named as respondents. Although the Central Environmental Authority had prepared a series of guidelines, the petitioning organisation says that it is inactive.
Minister Arjuna Ranatunga was summoned to the Presidential Commission inquiring into serious fraud and corruption today. This was to inquire into irregularities alleged to have taken place during the period he served as the Minister of Petroleum. The investigations are being carried out on a complaint made by employees of the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation. The minister arrived at the commission at about 9 in the morning today and left subsequent to approximately 1 hour later.
And moving on to stock-related news, the all-share price index closes at 5,863.99 points. That's an increase by 0.51 points. And the S&P SL 20 index closing at 2,912.66 points. That's also an increase by 7.39 points at the end of the trading at the Colombo Stock Exchange today. Turnover was over 1,281 million rupees. We have a summary of the market details of the Colombo Stock Exchange. And in some tragic news, Vice Captain of the Sri Lanka Youth Netball team, Melanie Amma Vijayasinghe, passed away yesterday. She was 17 years old at the time of her demise. The reason for the death of Melanie Amma Vijayasinghe was cancer. She was studying at the grade 12 at Vichaka Vidyalaya, Colombo, and had participated in several international tournaments representing Sri Lanka national youth netball team. She served as the vice captain of the Sri Lanka team during the Asian Youth Netball Championships held in Japan and won the award for the best goal shooter. She also represented the Sri Lankan team which participated in the Youth World Cup Netball Championships held in Botswana. The remains of Melanie Amma, who passed away suddenly yesterday, was placed at a private funeral parlour in Colombo until this afternoon. From today, her remains will be at number 48/B, Hangwell, Kirindivella. The funeral will be held at the General Cemetery, Kirindivella, at 3 p.m. on the 23rd of October.
That's it. That's a look at Rupavahini News for tonight. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Good night.